can't hear you.
Could you use the mic actually? There's a mic there. Yeah.
We can pass it?
Perhaps, but he's also asking if you could use one so that he can record this.
Okay. Is it on?
It's on.
Cordless mic.
He says use both. You can use both. Yeah. It's on. Both are on, I think.
See, the problem with the learning community is that we're not going to need to pass this around. I'm not going to be the font of all wisdom here. Yes, and we had somebody back here. You had a question before, didn't you?
No, I wanted to add to the list what we can have from learning communities. Like we can develop accountability, self-accountability. That is really important, I guess, when you are in a profession such as teaching.
Absolutely. And one of the most important things about learning communities is that you leave footprints with what you do. So as you are developing the learning community, you need to be documenting it. And there's all different ways that you can do that. We'll talk about it. Yes.
I think the learning communities are like they develop the lifelong learning skills, which is very important nowadays to actually develop critical thinking and developing skills which one can improve on throughout the life.
Okay. Yes.
Your abstract over there says that a learning community helps people to learn from each other. So we could also, parents bring with them a very diversified set of knowledge of them, lots of experiences with them. So we could also use them as a resource where they could add to the learning experiences of both pupils, teachers and their own community. So, and be a part of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can have learning communities, and we're talking about different kinds of communities. You can have one that is a cohort, and that means a certain kind. Maybe it's for all early years teachers, or for all primary teachers, or for all science teachers, or maybe for a group. But you can also have a topical, and you can have a parent one, but it could be topical in that what you're trying to do is improve parent relationships and parenting skills, so that could be topic. So you could have either, or at least those two kinds. Yeah.
To me, learning community is not something new or innovative idea. If we just look into the history, I being a citizen of Pakistan and a student of history, if you just look about the history pages, you will come to that learning community has been a part and parcel of subcontinent life. Still in our villages, people sit together. You just remove the media, TV, once these things were not introduced, people used to sit together in the evening. Chupal, we use this word chupal for this, and elders would sit and they would share the knowledge. Every village has its own community, and that was a masterpiece of learning. Folk wisdom was there, and everything was there. This is the time we have just discarded, we have unplugged ourselves from the cultural heritage. That's why we are having these types of sessions. If we could have continued that, that develop the cultural heritage continuity, I would say, so definitely we would have incorporated these very things in our modern. Exactly. Even if you go to the remotest parts of the country, in the subcontinent, since this is my experience, first-hand experience, you will still come to know that there are plenty of community learnings. They are working without any workshops, they are working without any books, but knowledge is there. They are sharing knowledge, they have their own tools. So I think we are re-engineering, we are not developing some innovative thing. We're trying to connect it with the modern life.
The concept of saying prayers and mosque was the concept of a community, building up a community, social community.
Even this we have not taken the concept of Islam. That was not. I have come to know. I go to my village, my nearby mosque. People come. They stand in the straight row for years and years. They just Assalamu alaikum, and they're alien to each other. Wherever they are supposed to be a jamaat, a class, what we say. But you would come to know if you just chit chat with those Nazis. They are in the same mosque for years and years, and they don't know each other. They don't know the common problem of
It does not happen always. I object to this. Community is a concept which brings the people of diversified thinking together. You cannot be a solitary individual. You cannot be a solitary individual by living in a society or a community. You will have to interact. And the concept of community means that bringing the element of cooperation, bringing the element of tolerance, bringing the element of stimulating members, and by these elements you can come together and you can come with a new idea or a new element.
This is what we can.
This
That's what we had.
is.
We are talking about that.
Don't speak for 20%, speak on the majority level.
I was just wondering, what about in cities?
I'm not challenging anybody over here. I'm just giving the situation.
It gives you gratitude.
That's exactly it. And one of the beauties of community is that you have a diversity of opinions. And even if you have all people who have very similar backgrounds, you still have diversity. Because we think differently, we have different experiences.
You learn new things. That is a learning community. You are learning.
And you're learning from
I have a question actually. We are talking about learning communities as a whole, as a general, right? Do we have these learning communities in our classrooms? When the teacher is standing there and do we actually hear the children and their opinions and what they have to say?
very good question. You'll have to answer that.
According to the
We try to provide that advice.
Sometimes
We try to
develop that
Yes. And those are learning communities. But they are there to learn. And everybody buys into being there to learn. And when you have, even if you had a large classroom, your classroom could be a learning community. And within that, you can have other smaller learning communities. Yes.
Like interest groups and sharing it as a whole.
Absolutely.
solve the problem.
Yes. Yes. Solve lots of problems. And bringing an issue, whatever is an issue in the classroom, bringing it to the classroom and finding out what different people think about it. Yes.
If it's in the even in an industrial society, not necessarily a industrial. But even industrial society, they call them the corporate world where we informal groups, sales, working, like the parent company does, they are more productive than those necessary. That sales working can actually be more productive than necessary.
Actually, I believe humans are social animals. Human beings are social animals. So the fact that learning community existed or exists even now is part of human nature. But the fact that we are, we've become aware of it, and the fact that we're trying to learn how we can benefit and use that learning effectively, I think that is something which is important at this stage.
Institutionalize it. Institutionalize it.
Madam, there, of course, a person who knows the efficacy of the community in the society will never be negligent of the fact that without creating community in the classes, productive or lucrative learning cannot take place. One thing. Second element that I would like to here focus is my own vocation. A self based upon community, it strikes my mind now. It is like you see, a self is merely self with itself, and some self with the help of other selves. So this is community, and the practical example of making community in the class can be seen, let's suppose, from the brainstorming session, where you present a problem, and the students in the shape of communities can give the different solutions to that. So there is, of course.
Yes. Yes. I don't know. All right.
I was actually, if I may.
I don't think that's okay.
I just want to say
in fact, the learning communities we have been talking about, the point is that informal learning communities have always existed. I think here we are talking about a learning community which is comparatively more formal in nature and has some structure and, for which we make a certain conscious effort. And so exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And I think talking about what have been and what are learning communities is really important to get to that idea. These are intentional. So we have lots of communities, but I think you could probably even argue that the ones that we've just been talking about are intentional. As a teacher, you are.
And I think that maybe another idea that we can add in here is that people belonging to different types of schools, because in Pakistan we do have different types of schooling systems, very type of, and different types of studies and different types of curriculums. So if we can have a platform, you see we do have coordination meetings, they are learning communities, we have subject coordination meetings and everything. They are all part of, in one way or the other, they are learning communities. But what we as teachers, when we talk about diversity and other things like that, I think we need to set up a platform where people from different backgrounds, as in teaching backgrounds, should join in and pull in their ideas, think about whatever they've been doing, and how can they, help each other, and be resourceful to each other. That's what we're doing, but I think still, it's quite close-ended. Most of us are Beaconites. I would say 90% of the people. Yeah, what I want to say, people from a government school, teachers from a government school, teachers from a semi-government school. We have lots of schools spread around, I think every third house is a school. Right? So teachers coming in from different backgrounds, so you sit together. I'm sure we have lots to learn from them also, whereas we have lots to give them.
I was actually wondering, just one area which I would like to add with regards to your very, very first question about where and how to build learning communities, and to what I would feel that in Pakistan especially, our students need to learn to take the social responsibility element, meaning they take ownership of the school they study in, the roads they are driving on, be it lecturing or other things. And I believe that learning communities could really help us in that area.